Well, it's a rainy watershed, windy Thursday morning in the FCT. And of course, these are those kind of days where you just sit on your bed and just ask yourself, why do I have to go to work today? Why do I have to do anything today? Because, of course, the rain and the wind is just giving you the feeling to just still, just sit and just chill at home. But of course, you have to do what you have to do. And what has to be done definitely has to be done. It's a beautiful, bright new day to be back live the 9th of July 2026. It might be hazy outside, but there's clarity right here. This is Clean Beats 91.5 FM Abuja, where music meets clarity. And of course, we're back today, back alive, back excited. And of course, to continue to inform you, educate you, and of course, entertain you. Well, this is the Clarity Starter and particularly the Roundtable live and exclusive to Cleanbeat 91.5 FM Abuja. The Roundtable is that segment of the Clarity Starter where we sit pretty and have particular conversations around issues of public interest and, of course, national concern. And this morning, as usual, well, first of all, we'll start with what's happening, what's trending in the front pages of our national dailies. We'll look at our national dailies this morning before we get into an expanded conversation much later in the course of this program. Today, in the expanded conversation, we'll be talking about the free TV conversation. It remains a thing, right? Nigerians are expecting, they are asking questions. What would the free TV look like? The digital switch over. What is it going to look like? We'll be talking to somebody this morning who will give us more perspectives into the free TV phenomenon and what it should look like for Nigeria's broadcasting industry. You don't want to miss today's conversation because it promises to be exciting and inciting. Insightful, I beg your pardon. Okay, so to be a part of the conversation, WhatsApp is very open for you. 0903000 5915. I take that again. 0903000 5915. And of course, you can also join our ever expanding community of fans and followers. Head to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X. Our handle is at CleanBeat 915FM. And you want to reach out to us on our website, it is cleanbeat915fm.com. You want to watch the show live on YouTube, just head to YouTube and search for Clean Beats 915FM, and you're going to see how I look like this morning. By the way, my name is Isaac. Isaac, excited as always. You can tell from my voice that I'm excited to be back on the program. The rain, the cold has got absolutely nothing on me. Okay, so let's kickstart this conversation already. As usual, we'll start with the national dailies, what's trending on the papers this morning. Today being the 9th of July, 2026. What are the stories making the headlines in the front pages of our national dailies? And of course, you want to contribute to some of the stories. Just head to WhatsApp, drop your comments there, and we're surely going to take them as they come. Well, rain is falling, but there's a Daily Sun this morning. So let's start with the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. The front page of the Daily Sun for July 9th, 2026. A story here says commotion in House of Reps over motion to summon Tinubu. Commotion in House of Representatives over motion to summon Tinubu. Lawmakers kick against plan to suspend constituency project. That story can be found on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. It was quite a bedlam yesterday at the House of Reps where there were conversations around the seeming failure to release funds for constituency projects, and lawmakers had suggested several things, including summoning the president to ask him why has there not been funds for constituency projects, and that suggestion was rolled out particularly. But we'll watch and see as the conversations definitely continue. Meanwhile, there's a story here at the top of the front page of the Daily Sun. It says PFIPC, ADC, Atiku reject ICPC probe, insist on independent inquiry. That story can be found on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. It continues to be a conversation, of course. The Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, which we now hear was a fake agency. So it's a conversation, definitely. A story here says Tinubu hails earlier for job creation, thorough industrial revival, peaceful environments. The story can be found on page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Finally, from the Daily Sun, the story says, join military, chief of staff begs Southeast. Join military, chief of army staff begs the Southeast. Moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, at the front page of the Daily Trust, there's a story here. It's a big story. It says North must unite against banditry, terrorism. This is according to the Sultan. The story can be found on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. At the top, there's a story here that says oil prices jump amid renewed U.S.-Iran hostilities. Oil prices jump amid renewed U.S.-Iran hostilities, right? The story can be found on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Reps to invite budget minister over phantom council. Yes, reps to invite budget minister over phantom council. That story can be found on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper, and it relates to the PFIPC. Yes, how did they find their way to the national budget? And there was 1.3 billion naira allocated for that council, which has now been known to have been fake, right? So how did he find its way to the budget? That's why the reps is looking to invite the Minister of Budget, National Planning to come and answer those questions. Let's look at the Guardian newspaper this morning. The front page is quite very busy. There's a big story here that says legal distractions, intimidation, weaken opposition's 2027 contest. Legal distractions, intimidation, weaken opposition's 2027 contest. That story can be found on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. PFIPC probe divides NAS as ADC Atiku insists on independent inquiry. That story can be found on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. There's a story here that piques my interest. It says Senate seeks 15-year jail term, asset forfeiture for fake drug dealers. Senate seeks 15-year jail term, asset forfeiture for fake drug dealers. Right? That story can be found on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. At the top of the Guardian front page, a story here that says State Police, Lagos Assembly rallies state on speedy approval. Northern governors meet. All right, the story can be found on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. All right, let's do a bit of transnational politics this morning from Uganda. There's a story at the front page of the Guardian, and it's about Uganda. It says Uganda Law Society abolishes colonial court traditions, bans bowing to judges. Ugandan Law Society abolishes colonial court traditions, bans bowing to judges. Well, my legal practitioner friends, I don't know how they see this story and what they think about it if it was implemented in the country. Okay, so let's move on to the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. The front page of the Daily Independent has a story here, a big story that says federal government's domestic borrowing spree triggers fixed income sell-off. All right. Another story here says reps order probe into 1.3 billion naira budget allocation to PFIPC. Continues to be a conversation, of course, and we're hoping to see to get to the end, the root of this matter. You know, the fake agency, how they found their way to the national budget, and how there are lots of questions to answer because they haven't secured a space at the federal secretariat. And how is that even possible? So these are questions that we really need to find answers to, because issues like this affect public trust and public confidence in public institutions. Okay, the top of the Daily Independence, the story says CBN threatens penalties for rejection of 100 naira notes. CBN threatens penalties for rejection of 100 naira note. NUPRC issues 2024 PPLs to unlock investment in upstream oil and gas. For more of this, get a copy now and get yourself informed. Let's punch into the Punch newspaper this morning. The front page of the Punch for July 9, 2026. The story here says 2027 elections, 6 legal hurdles before INEC. 2027 elections, six legal hurdles before INEC. That story can be found on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Rising prices threaten Nigeria's poverty reduction gains. This is a statement credited to the IMF. For more of that, you can find that story on page 22 of the Punch newspaper. Let's touch down the New Telegraph this morning. They have quite a busy front page this morning. There's pictures here indicating the recent stories of flooding across the country. And there are pictures here to, of course, indicate that the country is battling severe flooding in several parts of the country, and it remains a concern. We had a conversation last Friday, about flooding, the loss of green spaces in Abuja, and the hope that would not get to a state in the FCT where we're seeing issues like this, flash flooding, where people would have to be displaced because of flooding. Okay. The New Telegraph, rather, the front page here, there's a big story that says, shoot terrorist on sight. Don't wait for order. Defense Minister tells soldiers. Take that again. Shoot terrorist on sight. Don't wait for order. Defense Minister tells soldiers. That story can be found on page 2, page 36, and page 27 of the New Telegraph newspaper. It's worthy to have different pages for one particular story because it's a conversation. The insecurity situation in the country remains a thing, and we're going to talk about it until, of course, we are free from this menace. By the way, another story here says unions, growing debt crisis threatening aviation safety. That story can be found on page 2 and page 65 of the New Telegraph newspaper. At the top of the New Telegraph, a story here says IMF, higher prices for essentials to worsen poverty in Nigeria. Higher prices for essentials to worsen poverty in Nigeria. Let's look at what's happening at this other side of the New Telegraph front page. The story says xenophobia. Federal government threatens more drastic action over killing of Nigerians in South Africa. That story can be found on page 4 of the Daily Telegraph. Okay. I don't know how the story affects us, but I'm going to take it still. It's one of the very interesting stories on the front page of the New Telegraph. It says early dog exposure may shield babies from infections. This is according to a study. Well, I'm not going to explain too much. Just grab a copy of the New Telegraph, head to page 30, and you find that story. On the Telegraph newspaper this morning, a story that affects us directly. It says NDLA appeals acquittal of Pretty Mike for drug-related offenses. That story can be found on page 29 of the New Telegraph newspaper. NDLA appeals acquittal of Pretty Mike for drug-related offenses. For more of that story, just head to page 29 of the New Telegraph newspaper. I beg your pardon. Okay, so that's about it for the newspaper review. We'll take a short break here. When we come back, we'll have an expanded conversation. We'll talk about the stories around the free TV, digital broadcasting, what it means for Nigeria going forward, and the role of the NBC, the National Broadcasting Commission, in all of this as they continue to channel the DSO conversation. We'll talk about this and so much more when we come back from this very short break. Please do well to stick around. This is still Clean Beat 91.5 FM, where music meets clarity.
An overdose of jams from us? Totally safe. Those pills? Not so much. Clean Beat 91.5 FM Abuja.
My name is Charles Ebuebu. I am the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission. Keep listening to Clean Beat 91.5 FM.
Well, thank you so much for sticking around. This is still Clean Beats 91.5 FM, and it's particularly the round table where we have conversations around public interest and, of course, national concern. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, of course, still live on the frequency Clean Beats 91.5 FM. My name is Isaac still, and I'm still here with you. We're going to be having an exciting, insightful conversation about Nigeria's seeming transition from analog to digital broadcasting. Now, the transition from analog to digital broadcasting represents one of the most significant technological shifts in our country's media landscape because of what it promises. It promises enhanced picture and sound quality, expanded channel choices, spectrum efficiency for telecommunications. This push towards the digitalization gained momentum in the mid 2000s in response to the International Telecommunications Union ITU mandate for countries to migrate from analog to digital broadcasting. Well, Nigeria formally adopted the policy around 2007 2008 when the late President Umaru Yar'Adua inaugurated the Presidential Advisory Committee on the transition in October 2008. And that initial target date was June 17, 2012. However, more than a decade after, we're still yet to fully complete that transition from analog to digital broadcasting. Well, sometime last month, the country relaunched its digital switchover DSO efforts with some renewed vigor in 2026. And of course, the idea is to bring a hybrid model that will combine digital terrestrial television, DTT, satellite delivery, and app-based access to deliver free-to-air content nationwide. And at the forefront, or even the center of this transformation, is the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, which is Nigeria's broadcast regulator, which is driving the country's digital switchover, the DSO. And as we continue to push for the country to complete its long-awaited transition, there are questions that arise. Why is it important for Nigeria to finally complete the switch from analog to digital broadcasting? What are the consequences if we do not fully migrate anytime soon? And how will free TV change the viewing experience of Nigerians? And most importantly, what should Nigerians expect in the months and years ahead as we continue to talk about the migration from analog to digital broadcasting? Now, to answer these questions and more, I am joined by the head of Digital Switchover DSO Office at the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, Mrs. Clementine Usman Wamba. It's a delight to have you join us this morning. Welcome.
Thank you, Isaac, and it's Clementine.
Clementine,
Yes,
I beg for
thank you
pardon.
very
It's I saw the name and I was like, well, we'll find a way around it. So welcome again. And I heard your journey here was quite topsy turvy.
Following Google Map. Don't
Oh.
always rely on it. Took me to the wrong road. but
Yeah,
I'm
apologies
happy
for
to be
that.
here.
You still made it.
Yeah, I did.
Definitely. So welcome once again. And I want to ask before we start, I hope you like our studios.
Oh, yes. Good.
It's
Keaton.
it's beautiful.
It's nice to be here.
Thank you.
Clean
very-
beats.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank
So,
you.
let us get into the meat of the matter this morning. Recently, June 17, 2026, the federal government through the NBC and NICOMSAT launched free TV. And this is part of the long-awaited switch from analog to digital broadcasting. And according to what we've been exposed to, this target started 11 years ago, 2015 particularly. So I want to particularly ask, why is it important to complete that switchover now for the country?
All right. It started way beyond even 2015. Okay. So the digital switchover is started in Nigeria as part of the ITU Geneva Agreement, and Nigeria signed to transit from analog to digital broadcasting. So we started the journey actually in 2006, so many of that's when MMDS operators, we had to fizzle them out so that they can go digital, and of course the digital process also includes some of most of the maybe radio TV stations were not using digital equipment. So even the process of improving your production infrastructures and going digital, that is still part of the digital migration, okay? So at this stage, at 2016 was when we did the pilot launch in Jos, and so here we are. Many years after, like you said, we're still here. But it is important to complete it because the digital migration is not just a technological transition, we're talking about a national development program because it is improving our broadcasting landscape. Okay, so I think maybe those of you, I don't know when you were born, from the time when you were receiving maybe like only NTA stations in your homes, then when the regulation came, you started getting the likes of AIT,
and the rest of them.
they started increasing to 2 to 3, you know, even those that are still on analog, you probably get maybe 2 or 3 channels in your homes. But with digitization now, with the digital migration, you're getting over now like over 100 channels, you know, you can get if you're on the DTH platform. So it's important for Nigerians to get good broadcasting services, and secondly, when you were introducing, you talked about efficiency in use of spectrum.
Yeah.
So when we switch off analog, we're saving spectrum that can be used for broadband services and many other services in the country. But most importantly, is also changing the look of our broadcasting industry and the digital economy. You know, when we are playing digital, you're talking improvement in services, you know, that Nigerians can benefit, and then improvement in the broadcasting digital ecosystem.
All right, now let's like you talked about free TV, which is where I want us to talk about. So the federal government recently introduced free TV, and we hear it carries over 100 stations, including entertainment, news, sports, religious content, educational content, and all of that. So walk us through what exactly is free TV, and how is it different from subscription TV services?
Okay, Free TV is actually the brand name for the Nigerian digital switchover. It's a platform we're creating to aggregate all your Nigerian channels, okay, so that you can receive them. Because when we switch off analog, your stations won't be able to transmit. Right now, a lot of stations, they do what you call simulcast. They are transmitting on analog and they are also still on digital.
Yeah.
So by the time we switch off analog, they won't be able to transmit on their own. Okay. So we're creating a platform where all these channels can be aggregated. So for now, Free TV is 100% Nigerian channels. Every Nigerian channel you know in Nigeria are on that platform. And those that are not yet on board are coming on board. And it is different from subscription in that it is free. Okay, so when we talk about transition, some people are migrating through pay TV. But this one, we're trying to create access for all Nigerians. If you can't afford subscription TV, you must have access to information. You cannot be cut off. You must know what is happening in the country. You must have access to entertainment. So that's what Free TV is trying to do. Free access for all Nigerians. So that's why it's different from subscription. So, but there are many options. If you can afford it and you want to do pay subscriptions, you can do it. But this one is creating a platform for even the common man, for every Nigerian not to be cut off.
All right, now let's talk about the NBC, the National Broadcasting Commission. They are the broadcast regulators in the country.
Yes.
You know, so as more and more channels are coming in, you've mentioned the fact that free TV, you know, is basically to accommodate all Nigerian television channels.
Yes.
So what standards will the NBC enforce to maintain quality, professionalism, and public trust in terms of content regulation, technical standards, consumer protection, and most importantly, combating misinformation and harmful content?
Beautiful. So, the Free TV, every regulation concerning broadcasting in Nigeria still applies on this platform. So, if you're on the platform, you're bound by the NBC Act, by the Nigeria Broadcasting Code, and every other extant laws. So, every technical standard that NBC had mandated every broadcaster to follow, you have to follow that. So we expect, in fact, if you sign the agreement, you see that they are technical, you must have good technical capabilities. Okay, right now, we must be able to render 24-hour service. We don't want to see
it's a prerequisite.
Yes, it is. We encourage them to, you know, but although we have some stations that are still, you know, shifting because of the
economic cost of running
Nigeria,
a station for 24 hours
but
is a lot.
it is a demand. We are pushing that, but people have to, like especially state-owned station, I tell them you have to go 24 hours. You have to put all the facilities, create the content to fill the 24-hour service that is required. So the technical requirements in the broadcasting code applies. And when you talk about content again, all the content requirements applied. To do with fake news, whatever the code says about fake news is prohibited. To do with misinformation, objectivity and balance, okay? Decency in content. All those things still apply in this digital era, and we're monitoring for that. And we also encourage the public, since we're even going public complaint-driven regulations, to also encourage people to complain whenever they they see any unwholesome content they don't like. So it still applies
Yeah.
in this
The reason I
digital
asked
platforms.
is because there's this free to air TV station I was watching last night. It's a Nigerian station, and there's a song that's NTBB,
Oh, okay.
right? And it was played on that station, and I was asking myself, in the context of free TV, where we would have a proliferation of stations,
So many, right?
can the NBC properly, monitor all of these stations to make sure that they follow the rules, the codes, regulations guiding, responsible broadcasting?
Very good. So, the same way we're going digital, our monitoring facilities are going digital.
Digital.
We're installing top-notch monitoring facilities that uses AI to even detect some of these things you're talking about. So, all those are being put in place. And like I said again, I want to also encourage Nigerians. Be part of the monitoring. Like you say, you saw something, you didn't like it. NBC exists. We always say your right to quality broadcasting. So we exist for the
I'll
public.
report the station after now.
And then you can go on like www.nbc.gov.ng. There's a place for you to complain or send to any of our offices, send to our email info@nbc.gov.ng. Send your complaint so that you can help sanitize the airwaves. So we're ready. We have enough. In fact, we've even beefed up our monitoring staff. So across the country, we're in all states of the federation. Everywhere in Nigeria right now, you have an NBC office monitoring the stations that are there. So we are ready. We are ready for the digital era and improving our monitoring by the day.
Let's talk about content particularly and the creators of this content as well. The creative industry contributes significantly to our economy, right?
Yes.
Nollywood particularly is recognized as one of the world's largest film industries by volume.
Yeah.
So how can digital broadcasting and free TV create more opportunities for filmmakers, producers, independent content creators? And how can they actively participate in this new ecosystem? And what role would the NBC play to ensure that all of these creators, producers have fair access, to what's coming?
All right. So when you were introducing it, one of the advantage of digital is that it's creating multiplicity of channels. We are bringing, 100 channels. So in that, you have news and current affairs. Now you have children programming. Now you have entertainment. Even on the platform, I saw new channels coming, the wedding channel, housing channel, children channel, strictly music channel. So there's so many opportunities now. Because there are more channels to fill, there are opportunities for content creators. And because we're not focusing on just infrastructure, you must establish transmission infrastructure. We are focusing on content. So there's more opportunity for content creators to be part of the digital ecosystem. And that is what is improving the digital economy, because we're creating more jobs. Okay, people like you, young people have opportunities. More stations are. I don't know how many channels have come on board now. They are now looking for people to be producers, to be content, and then they're independent producers too. That some of the broadcasters are partnering with to put their content on there. So there's so many opportunities coming on. And of course, if you look at our free TV app, you see it's also a distribution platform for even Nigerian movies. Okay, so you see there's a platform for that, video on demand, all those will be coming on board. So you can watch a whole lot of Nigerian movie, even on the app. So there is creating both distribution platform opportunities,
right.
for monetization.
All right, so we'll take a short break here. When we come back, we'll talk about what this means to the economy. The conversations around employment opportunities, the people and all of that. So we'll talk about that when we come back from this very, very short time. I'll please do all to stick around.
My name is Charles Ebuebu. I am the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission. Keep listening to Clean Beats 91.5 FM.
Doctor-approved medication only. DJ-approved jams all day. On Clean Beats 91.5 FM Abuja.
It's an absolute delight to know you're still tuned into Clean Beats 91.5 FM. Time check, it's just a minute past the hour, 9 o'clock Nigerian time. Today being July the 9th. 2026. My name is Isaac, and of course, excited to be here at the roundtable where we're talking about Nigeria's digital future, the NBC, and the free TV transition from analog to digital broadcasting, the opportunities therein, and what it means for our broadcasting landscape, not just now, but in the future. And joining me to have this conversation, of course, is Yes, Clementine, Mrs. Clementine Usman Wamba, the head digital switchover DSO office at the National Broadcasting Commission. And let's expand the conversation, ma'am, this morning. Let's talk about the economy because you mentioned that this has got ties to the economy and all of that. So I want to talk about employment opportunities. Could the free TV platform and the DSO generate more employment opportunities within the broadcasting and creative sector? And I want to also know what scale of job creation can we realistically expect, right? What areas of the value chain are most likely to see, greater job growth with the seeming transition from analog to digital broadcasting?
There are so many opportunities. Okay, if we look at it, we can look at it from I think we talked on the broadcasting itself. So you're talking about the opportunities for producers, opportunities for presenters, opportunities for channel owners. Maybe for you're a presenter today, tomorrow you want to own your own channel. There are
Absolutely.
opportunities for that. Then we also have the allied industry too. Under the digital switchover too, for instance, we have the set-top box because we don't want people. Most television sets in Nigeria are analog. Okay, so we said you can use your set-top boxes to receive these things, to receive the signal. Okay, so we're now creating this opportunity again for the receiver industry. So you have manufacturing, digital television sets are going to be manufactured, so opportunities are going to be created. And the set-top box as a stopgap measure that are being produced, there are people manufacturing that. There are dealers involved in that, people that are selling those things. Then right now under that free-to-air installation, now we are building a database of installers. There's a whole job opportunities for installers because you want to install free-to-air, right? You can't do it yourself. You call them. So they're creating a job for installers that go around in localities that can install this for people. So that opportunity is being created. Okay, are you talking about the film industry? Okay, even in the distribution value chain. Okay, there's also opportunity in those areas. So the opportunities are actually many for Nigerians and in the digital economy. Then there's also the demonetization. I don't know if you're later going to talk about the opportunities that even our audience measurement system that we're introducing is creating. Broadcasters are going to have opportunity to know who is watching, okay, who is watching and what the audience are interested in. So it's going to help them to design the type of programs that are going to be given out to the public. And advertisers can then know where to channel the advertising revenue. So obviously the platform is going to be.
I think that leads us to the next conversation, right?
Okay.
Because in the age of of analog broadcasting, it's been here since 1959. There's been this challenge of finding out tailoring content specifically for particular audiences. Right, because it's a challenge. Sometimes there's been several methods, analog methods of finding out what your audience wants.
Yes.
So is there going to be something to mitigate that challenge as we transit to digital broadcasting, where the demography of audience seeing your content, the age, the tribe, what they like, what they most what they spend most time on, the channels that they spend most time on, because obviously it will help advertisers channel the advertising content. So are there plans for that?
Yeah, it's like I jumped ahead of you.
Yeah,
we are coming to that.
I was coming to that.
Okay, so really, that's the one of the beautiful part, and that was what was lacking in the analog era. Audience measurement that you can go to the bank with, which is what one of the new features that are coming in with the Nigerian digital switchover, the audience measurement system.
How does it work? How does it work?
Okay, so we have a company that is doing that. So what they do, they have what you call meters. So you have it's like a sampling. They have a number of homes in Nigeria that you're going to have meters in their homes. So they're going to be monitoring what are they watching, and all this, the homes that are going to be picked, they have different demographics. Where their children, adult, different age groups. So the data knows who is watching, the age grade of whoever is watching. Okay, so you have many Nigerian homes. In fact, they are even rolling out. They'll be rolling out those meter anytime this July. They're going to homes and beginning to install it.
I'm trying to wrap my head around the meters and how it'd be able to recognize a child watching an adult watching.
Because it's all research driven. Homes that are going to be part of it, they will know those that are watching part time. They will know when each there will be all those methods will be explained to the homes when those meters are installed in their homes. Okay, so but at the end of the day, it's talking about aggregation of the data to know what these homes are watching part time at 2:00. What are people really watching? You know, and this your program will be able to know. Why beats at Clean Beats? Maybe you know how many people are listening to me and you right now. Okay, so all those data, and these are the introductions. Maybe in the next, I don't know, the timeline, but these are early days. Maybe before the end of the year, we can give feedback. We're going to be going around the country to discuss this and educate broadcasters more on this audience measurement system. So by then we'll know where you can begin to get authentic data that you can use and advertisers can use to know what people are watching, to know where to put their advertising. Because most times now, most broadcasters we're not getting the adverts because advertisers want to know. It's going to digital platforms, you know, because advertisers want to know where are the eyeballs, and where the eyeballs are, where advertising go. And audience measurement will let them know where the eyeballs are. Audience measurement would also let you, the broadcasters, know what people want to watch when they are watching and what you need to put.
What kind of content you should put out as well.
Yeah, so it's all data driven. Right. So we look forward to that coming on board.
I'm personally looking forward to that because I think it will change the landscape of broadcasting and it will help broadcasters further tailor their content, right? You know, for different times of the day, which is very important, you know, in communication particularly. Let's talk about the other side of the divide, which is the rural and underserved communities. Because, you know, the country we live in, you know, we've got the highbrow areas and the not so highbrow areas particularly. So there's the conversation around access of these digital television services, you know, and digital services to people for outside cities, you know. Will this platform, you know, get to the hinterlands, you know, our villages, for instance? I would love to mention my village, but maybe in the course of this conversation, because
your village?
well, unfortunately, my village, there still has a lot of infrastructural challenges, you know, in terms of access to, you know, steady power supply, for instance. And I don't know how many people now have TVs in that village particularly. But then, so how would this transition also benefits people of the underserved communities, and how would it get to them as well, because they also need the information that is being put out across the different channels.
Exactly. So that's the beauty of the launch, what we just did, okay, because there's an introduction of the DTH platform, and that's why we're also partnering with the Nigerian Communication Satellite. Okay, so with satellite, as we speak, it's not like DTT. All the free-to-air signal right now in your village, I'm telling you. So once they have their free-to-air decoder and they can install it, point the dish to Nice Concert 42.5 East.
They get the signals.
East. They can get all the over 100 channels. So that's what's going DTH. Okay, this new DTH introduction is to break that barrier. With DTT, you know, the tower has to be in a certain locality, and the signals can only be received by people where the transmitter can beam the signals to in that area. But with satellite, it goes everywhere. So that's why we call this was a national launch. Everywhere in Nigeria now, you have free TV and you can get all your Nigerian channels in your villages. If you have the conversation about electricity is another whole issue entirely, which is a general challenge in Nigeria. But the thing is, where there's power, you can receive, there's no barrier to receiving information anymore. It's everywhere, every nook and cranny in Nigeria, from Abuja to Kafanchan, any locality, you have TV signal, access to information without barriers. And of course, you know, everybody have a smartphone now. I don't know if you're coming to that. You know about the mobile app, Free TV mobile app. So even you, if you go to your village right now, you can watch on your mobile phone.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of upsides of, you know, this transition, right? You mentioned when you started that this idea has been around since 2006. So I want to particularly ask, you know, what has kept it from being fully implemented? It's been plus or minus 20 years since the idea was, was originally brought forth. So what has been the major challenges that, the NBC, the NICOMSA, the federal government has faced in fully completing this migration from analog to digital?
Let me say that the challenge is not peculiar to Nigeria. There are many countries that have not completed the DSO. So, but part of the challenge, they are so multifaceted. Both financial challenges, cost of rolling out digital infrastructure. It's a whole huge cost. Like when we were when we launched DTT in 2016, with DTT, we were able to go to just 9 locations. Because each place you have to install MAT. And I'll give an example. In Jos, for instance, that has had about 17 local governments in Jos, about 17 local governments in Jos. When we launched DTT there, only about, as we speak, still maybe just about 6 local governments can receive
the signals
from the DTT towers. Why? Because of the topography. So they need to install other transmitters in other areas so that people in the hinter areas can receive it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a challenge to do with DTT, for instance. So that delayed it. And that was why we couldn't even switch off, because you can't go and cut off people that are watching analog TV. There's no alternative and you're denying them access to information. So that was a huge, those are part of the challenge we faced all this while. That's why we went back to drawing board. And then there was also the issue of sustainability. Okay.
Well, coming to that as well, sustainability,
okay. Sustainability in terms of you install, where is the money coming from? Who will run those signal distributors? Where is their payment coming from? So there are so many things. And then, of course, we're dealing with different type of stakeholders. So interest come into it, conflicts come into it. So there are many things that had led to a lot of delays in completing the DSO.
Right,
we thank God we are back on track and paying close attention to collaboration and
All right. You had mentioned, because we know that this digital migration is a hybrid model.
Yes.
There's the digital terrestrial television. There's also online access as well. So let us talk about online access. You mentioned the smartphone and all of that. So walk us through the free TV app. How does it work?
All right. Okay, so you have it on basically most people, either you have an Android phone or iOS, an Apple phone. So you just go to the App Store, you can download. If you're on Android, search free TV and you see it. The red white logo with red free TV written on it. If you're on the iOS, Apple, search free TV NG and download. So when you get it, it will probably ask you to verify. So put in your phone number, use email. Most people are complaining, I'm not getting the OTP. Use your email to verify, please. Use your email to verify and you're in. And when you go in, you have you see it. Have you downloaded it yourself?
I'm trying to do that now.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can try.
It's quite easy. I have it here on my phone. Free TV NG. I don't know. I think
there's a camera there, so you don't see definitely.
So it's so if you it's quite quick to download, easy to download.
All right. Now let's also talk about.
So you have all the channels, the channels here. So our channels.
This is a free TV channel. This
beautiful.
is a free TV app,
that's
right?
it.
Okay,
that's
so
it.
This is officially.
Have you,
I have it.
So have you downloaded it, and then you can get the channel, their channel varieties. You have the news and current affairs, you have entertainment, you have the music channel, you have children channels. Then you have the regional channels. For instance, which state are you from?
From Akwa Ibom State.
Akwa
Ibom,
Ibom.
yeah.
Okay, AKBC is not yet about, but they're going to be here. You can even know what's happening in your
my
state.
That would be lovely.
Using your phone, So because I have it here, you have Delta Broadcasting is already here. DITV, that's one of the first private station in the north is here. Desmond's TV.
All right. So we know that there's stations. One conversation around, online viewing is the cost of data subscription.
Right?
And I think I speak for a lot of Nigerians, a lot of us who are looking to switch to this, because ordinarily watching TikTok, spending a few hours on TikTok, and a few gigabytes are gone. So, are there any plans for the NBC, to work with the NCC and service providers to find a way to maybe subsidize, have a special data plan for free TV so that people would want to, gravitate towards free TV? Is there any plan for that?
That's a beautiful idea.
Oh,
that you're bringing, and those conversations are going
oh,
on. There's a lot of talk we
I
have with
think
telecom
The
operators
NBC owes
going
me for
on,
that then.
but no, it's nice you're thinking, and then
Yeah.
of course government is also doing a lot to try to
Mm,
bring down
mm,
the cost of data.
mm. I hope because
Yeah.
speaking from the perspective of someone who spent a lot of time on the internet, right? Data
Yes,
subscription is a thing. So
it is a
if
thing
there's some
and
form
very
of
necessary.
very necessary, some
Yeah.
form of subsidized plan,
Yes.
maybe there would be a special free TV plan. Less money, more data, just for free TV.
Yes.
So I think that would make a lot of sense.
Cool, Isaac.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on quickly, because we're out of time already. Let's talk about the equipment. What does an average household need to receive free TV?
All right.
Can the existing television set still be used? Do they need to get a new TV, a smart TV, a set-top box? What are the equipments needed to, set up your own free TV in your house?
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so now we've already talked about the data. We know is your mobile phone and data if you want to access it on through IP. Now, for the homes, for using access through television, you can use your existing television, analog television sets. What you need is a set-top box. And a set-top box essentially takes digital signal and converts it to analog so that you can watch it on those analog television sets. So those are your decoder, they call them decoders. So get a free-to-air decoder. This one, I don't need a specialized set-top box. Any box that can receive free-to-air. Just ask your installers, they know. So get that box, and of course you need a dish. And most times they advise a 90 centimeter dish that gets the best signal. Then talk to the installers. If you call the our free TV line, they can also guide you on what to do. So talk to the installer to install it, point the dish to nice concert, and you have your signal. They know how they tune the channels. So those are basically, you need a television set, you need a decoder, you need a dish. Those are the three items that you need, and of course an installer to help you install it.
All right, so two questions from there. Are the decoders easily accessible? Are they in the market right now?
Yes, they are free to air decoders in the market now, and with time there will be more.
You also talked about a free TV toll line.
Yes,
as well. I think you should also.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a line 0700-388-72. Sorry, please. 0700-388-7277. So call that line if you have any queries. Maybe you ask, where can I buy the decoder? They will direct you on the dealers that you can reach out to.
All right. So
and then if you have any other concern, you can also call them. Of course, we also have our email, dso@nbc.gov.ng. You can also send your inquiries to that email address.
All right. So just for a bit of clarity, please repeat the phone lines again.
0700-388-7277.
All right. Thank you very much. As we look to wrap up the conversation, it's been an exciting conversation. By the way, let's talk about sustainability.
Yeah.
It's a key part of this conversation. Unfortunately for us in this part of the country, sustainability, maintenance is a thing. It's a major challenge for us. So what's NBC's long-term vision for free TV and the digital broadcasting ecosystem in Nigeria, and how do they look to sustain this so that we don't see this happen for 5 years and then after 5 years it has disappeared and we return to status quo?
Yeah, that's the sustainability is a very big issue. It's a very big issue whenever you're introducing something new in Nigeria. And that's the greatest concern of my DG, Mr. Charles Ebwebu. Most of the time you see him talk, he's talking about how to improve the creative industry, how to improve the business of broadcasting in Nigeria. And that's why this whole new big picture strategy is creating opportunities in a way that you can see attract advertisers to the platform, and then content creators, how can your content be monetized? In the next phase of the DSO, all those issues will go into it. And then we're also looking at profitability of the platform itself. All those discussions are discussions that are ongoing now. And I can assure you that sustainability is a very huge concern and a great thing that we're focusing on right now to do with the free TV platform. And this is not an idea that is leaving anytime soon. Some people are asking about, is it going to be free forever? It's going to be free. the basic bouquet of getting all your Nigerian channels, people won't have to pay for that. But maybe over the course, they might be adding other monetization issues where content creators will be able to
make
monetize
money.
their content and make money.
All right.
Yes.
08090305915 is the number for you to contribute. You have questions you want to ask as regards the topic we're talking about. Just head to WhatsApp and drop your questions, and we'll definitely provide answers for them. 090305915. That's the WhatsApp line. That gives you the chance to ask your questions and make contributions in the course of this program as we look to wrap up the conversation this morning. Okay. All right. Mrs. Usman Wamba,
Yes, please.
when the digital switchover is fully completed, I read somewhere, by the way, that the NBC start getting 2028. I don't know if that
Yes,
yes,
December. That's a long time, right?
that's
Is it not long? It's
2 years from now. So that's sufficient time. I want to know what your success practically look like for Nigerian viewers, for the industry, and for the NBC.
Okay, a success for DSO. What will make DSO success? There are key things that will make DSO success for us in Nigeria. So when there's technological advancement, okay, that will be a success. Everybody is using, all your platform are digitized. Your studio is digitized. Everything is digitized. That's a success. That's success for us. That's what success will look like to us. And there's commercial viability. Stations are not struggling. You're not saying I cannot get advertisers. People are not coming in. There's commercial viability for every broadcaster. And then there's culturally rich content, okay? We're promoting Nigerian content. That is a success. When every creator have opportunity to be seen and to be heard, they have platforms they can push out their content. That is what success will look like for us, at the NBC. So those are some of the key determinants of what we say, okay, digital success. And then no Nigerians is denied access to information, denied access to entertainment. So at your level, if you cannot afford subscription to pay, you should be able to get entertained as a Nigerian through platforms like the free TV. And then, of course, and Nigerian content goes global. Like we're talking about, think local or think global. Or be local.
Be local.
So as you're producing, there are many people. I think my DJ said when he went out, which is normal, he had to even test the free TV app when he traveled, and he was getting it miles up. So Nigerian, there's opportunity for even diaspora. There's somebody in diaspora that called me and said, "You people, you're no longer cut off. Get in touch, and you can have all your Nigerian content in one app, even if you're far away."
Yeah. So
Okay,
you mentioned think global, be local.
Yes.
I just have a question with the number of channels expected. In the free TV. Are we going to be expecting indigenous language content, indigenous language channels? For
They're already
instance,
there.
I am an Akwa Ibom person.
Yes,
It'd be a delight for me to hear content in Ibibio language, because of course I'm of the Ibibio tribe, for instance.
It's already there. Okay, so we have a number of local language channels. In fact, the Hausa channels, I can't even count how many. I'm beginning to start counting. So there are many of them, and many more of them are coming up. And because some of you're talking about your local language channel, state channel will be here. I know most of them pick programs in the local languages, so you're going to be able to watch all that,
Right.
So
State
there will be
stations.
many, state stations are there, and there are many more opportunities. We're even encouraging people, language channels, come on board, We're encouraging them, and there's still opportunities for Nigerians. If you're interested, you have the requisite license, and you have content, they're still welcome to come on board.
Finally, before we let you go, before I want to get your thought. I want to get your message, for an average listener as the country, gravitates towards digital broadcasting. But before then, just a bit of reminder on the app. For someone listening who wants to get that app. So just a reminder of the processes again.
Okay, so I said go to your, is it Play Store or Apple App Store? Just search Free TV. If you're on Android, search Free TV. You see it. If you're on iOS, search Free TV NG. If I want you to type Free TV, just identify the logo. I told you, you were showing it to them.
Yeah.
Did you show it to them
I
again?
think I should show it to
Yeah,
them
so
again.
once they see that, that's the logo you need to download.
Yeah,
and
so
listen.
so
And I want to encourage Nigerians. Sometimes I follow charts, I know where I want to just encourage us to, what is Nigerian? Let us encourage it. Let us be deliberate about using what is ours and encouraging the people on the platform. Some people have not even given it a chance. I'll read something. Oh, this is NTA channels. Have you taken time to actually listen to
through
someone?
those
Yes,
channels.
peruse through them. Don't conclude. They say, oh, this is NTA. And what is wrong with NTA anyway? If you listen to NTA enough, you see that they have a lot of educative and entertaining programs that teach you a lot about Nigeria. Okay, so I want to encourage people right off. In this area where it's all about, we are quick to say entertainment. The entertainments are there. We have a lot of music channels. We have there too. Movie channels are there. We have dedicated movie channels there. So please, Nigerians should give Free TV a chance. Go there and assess what is there. Check out what is there. Check out the channels. Listen, download, install it, and listen to what's yours. That's the way you're creating opportunities for content creators, creating opportunities for channel owners, for businesses to come to them. So you need to watch it. You need to listen to it. You need to install it. So please, Nigerians,
I think
look at what is yours.
I think
and give it a chance. That's what I can say.
I take that as your message,
Yeah,
to Nigerians. And of course, as we move off the conversation this morning, as we leave, not just watch, listen, look at the content, tell somebody, right?
Yes.
Encourage your friends, your family to also get in and give Free TV a chance. There's always the talk around, patronizing made in Nigeria
Yes.
content. So this is
Yes.
our stuff. This is
Yes.
ours. So it's important that we also tell people and preach the gospel of Free TV,
Yes.
to everybody. An average Nigerian would want to gravitate towards, foreign content, foreign
Yes,
stations and all of that. So
yes.
let's do Nigeria, and God will help us. Thank you so much, Mrs. Clementine
Yes.
Clementine
Yes,
Usman
thank
Wamba
you
for being a
very
part of the
much.
conversation. We
Thank you,
appreciate your
Isaac.
thoughts, and we hope that you'd come speak with us 5 years from now and again, and we'll talk about the achievement and the progress of Free TV. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, listener. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. So that's it for the program this morning. We appreciate your continued presence and participation. Of course, by 10 o'clock, we'll have the Clean Slate crew come the studio. And of course, conversations are going to continue from there. So do well to stick around, by the way, and enjoy the rest of the day's broadcast. My name is Isaac. Have a beautiful Thursday. We are outside.